This video is going to show you a couple of strategies for problem solving that involve logical reasoning. So if we look at the first problem, it says baseball games were played on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The number of people who attended were 32,413, 44,462, and 44,064. The greatest number of people attended Saturday's game. Fewer than 40,000 people attended Sunday's game. How many people attended each day? So to solve this problem, I like to write things down. So we know there were 3 baseball games. There was one on Friday. There was one on Saturday. And there was one on Sunday. And then we know a little information about a couple of the days. So it says the greatest number of people attended Saturday's game, which means I need to go up here and look at these 3 numbers, which again are separated by these semicolons. And if you want to take your pencil and put a box around this number, the 32,413, and then this number and this number to set them apart, that is a wise thing to do because then you can see the numbers a little bit better and those semicolons don't confuse your eye, making you think it's a comma. So the greatest number of people attended Saturday's game. So which one of these numbers is the greatest? So these two both start with 44,000. This is 44,462. This is 44,064. So this is the greatest. So that number must be the Saturday game because the problem tells us the greatest number attended Saturday. Then it says fewer than 40,000 people attended Sunday's game. So I've used this number. I am going to cross it out. I've used it. Now I have to decide between these two. And the information I have says fewer than 40,000 people. Which one of these numbers is fewer than 40,000? This one is. And it said that number attended Sunday's game. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put in 32,413 for Sunday, which means I can cross that number off. And that simply leaves me with one answer, and that is the 44,064 people. So one of the things I notice when kids do problem-solving problems, they want to read that problem one time and then know the answer, know how to solve it. But the ticket to being a good problem solver with word problems is that you have to read it a few times. Then you have to kind of pick it apart. So you can't read it one time and think, I've got the answer. Most of us can't, grown-ups included. You have to read it, make sure you understand what's being asked, write some things down if necessary, draw lines through things. So the reading and the thinking are the most important parts. So let's go down here and look at the next problem. This one says, Leah, Theo, Chris, Ann, and Bob are waiting in line for hockey tickets. Lena is not first or last. Theo is behind Lena, but is not last. Chris is in front of Lena. Ann is behind Bob. In what order are they standing in line? All right, so we know a few things. We know that Lena is not first or last. And I'm going to say that this is the beginning of my line. I'm going to write that down since I'm writing on this paper, on this document. So I'm going to say this is the beginning of my line. So I'm going to call it begin. We know that Lena is not first or last, but we know that Lena has Chris Theo is behind Lena, okay? So we know that Theo is going to be right behind Lena, and we know that Chris is going to be right in front of Lena because it tells us that Theo is behind Lena, but Theo's not last, so we need to keep that in mind. Chris is in front of Lena. Now, he could be first in line. I think we're done with this piece of information, so I'm going to cross it out. It says that Anne is behind Bob. Lena is not first or last, so Chris could be first, Lena could be next, Theo could be next. It says Leo is behind Lena, but he's not last. So he cannot be right here. And Anne is behind Bob. So if Anne is behind Bob, I'm going to put him over here. I'm going to say that here's Bob and here's Anne. We know Theo is behind Lena. We know Chris is in front of Lena. We know Lena is not first or last. And here in this order, she's not. And we know that Theo is behind Lena, but he's not last. So it must mean these two people have to be behind Theo because Theo is not last. So since Bob is behind Anne, this must be the way they've lined up. Chris, then Lena, then Theo, then Bob, then Anne. Okay? And so if I was wrong, I could have erased some of these and rearranged them and gone up there and checked again. Notice I did not just randomly type out names and then forget about it and not go back up here and read. So problem solving requires you to go up and reread the problem several times.